All right, welcome animators, artists, and people from all over the world. Welcome to State of Mind number 5. And I have with me a very special guest, Matthias Lappe. And as always, I ruined the last name, so did I get anywhere close?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. How would you pronounce it?
It's just Lappe.
Lappe.
So I was 99% there.
Cool.
Congrats.
Cool, thanks. So, Matthias and me met a couple of years ago at FMX, and we went to the same animation school, and we're just now like both working as professionals, and so this is going to be like a little round table with two people. There's not going to be any beer, but
too bad.
We'll just be drinking water and just exploring like what it's like to work and how State of Mind comes into play, and just have a really nice exploration of this. And that's gonna be the start of it. So, is how you feel and what you're thinking about your feeling, is that any concern for you at work, or you just sit down and just get started and don't give a damn about anything?
Well, as the moment I start working itself, I'm just focused on the animation I'm doing there, or the project, or what the task overall, like I'm doing there. Lately, it just had become a small kind of psychological issue thing for me, like doing freelance work and not really knowing when the next gig is coming and everything. And if you have something for like a few months, it's pretty relaxed once you start. But then, like when the last month comes and we think, well, I should try to get some new projects here and there, and then you ask around and send some applications, everything, but you don't really hear anything back, and the time for the deadline for the project is coming closer and closer and all this. But I guess it's the normal freelancer problem you have there, and so far it worked out pretty well, so I hope it just continues. And but it's still that's I think the hardest part. But once I started a project or whatever, I'm pretty free with my mind and just concentrate on the task.
Which is why you're a good animator, pretty much, because you're not.
Well, some other people have to decide that, but I hope that I'm not completely.
You're still getting hired and making money.
It's working for now, so I'm pretty happy with that, and I hope that 2015 is going to be the remote animation year of all years ever, so that I can stay home with my stepdaughter and girlfriend more, so I don't have to fly around and go other places, and always have to stay away during the week and all the driving back and forth and whatever. So that's pretty nice to just be here, do your work, and after work hours are done, you can just relax with your family, and that's pretty cool.
Nice, I like that. And so do you when you started a work day, you just sit down, get to work, like have your stuff ready, and get some coffee, and do all that stuff? Do you ever find yourself slipping back into the zone and just like losing yourself in the hours, or is there no consistency there at all? Or
well, before I was in this patchwork family thing with a stepdaughter, she's now 12. I definitely got into the zone way better, just because right now it's like I'm getting up really early in the morning, just to get the day started early. So so normally I start animating around like, I don't know, between 7:30, something like that. And this is normally the time when everybody else is leaving the house.
Yeah.
So at around 8, I'm completely alone, and then I can like work until like 12 or 1 p.m., something like that. And for that time, I'm pretty much trying to really get in the zone, get not too distracted with Facebook and Twitter and everything else. And then it's just I always have to set an alarm, because normally I don't really look on the clock anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's just a reminder. Oh yeah, I have to get some lunch ready, because my stepdaughter is coming home from school, and Then we have like the rhythm there, getting the food ready. She's coming home, asking how the school day is and all the stuff, you know. And some homework. Yes, you need help. Sure, okay. So and sometimes I can help with all this. Like normally all the classes with numbers, I can help her. Everything else is her mother's doing.
Yeah.
So, and after that, it's harder to get in the zone again because working from home, then you have like so many distractions, and if you then have somebody running around here, and I don't know, like normally during the afternoon, it's just hard to keep the concentration up. So I would say like 80% of my work I just get done in the first hours.
And then the rest is just whenever you have time available, or.
Exactly.
Oh, cool. That sounds very different because you're like I work at an office, so there's a very different rhythm to that. It's much more
completely. Yeah. When I was working in at Soy at location, like there in the studio, it was completely different. Like I was starting around like 8, and then normally animating until like 8 or 7, something like that, because I was leaving Friday a bit earlier to drive home. But yeah, there was just the normal working day, so you had like your rhythm there. But I feel like even if nobody asked me like any questions or whatever, I was just like animating, doing my blocking or whatever, I never really got in the same kind of zone like when I'm at home, like completely alone, you know? If people are around and I know they tend to move and breathe and all the distraction of like people doing around you, you always like look over or whatever. So I really like that, just having this focus. If I want to listen to music, I listen to music. Sometimes I just listen to nothing or just open the door and hope that, I don't know, like, sounds crazy, but some birds are flying around or something like that, just to get some completely different surrounding environment kind of, and then just work on your shot and hope to get something done kind of quickly and good.
I like that. That's cool. For me, I just get at the office and just grab a cup of tea and then sit down. And if it's a quiet day, it's a quiet day. And if it's like if there's like a lot of things to do, just like ignore whatever's coming up and just get to it. Just plan it out. Huh.
But I have to say, like that's something I also miss. You know, like not having this. I mean, like talking to people is nice.
Yeah.
So I always try to stay connected to people, like over Skype or whatever. And but still, I mean, it's completely different if you work from home. And where I'm living here right now, there's not really an animation industry, like nothing. So and all my friends I got, like I know, like during AM and then all the conference and so on, they all live so far away. So there's not like, hey, just meet for lunch or something like that. You know, like that's just not possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like write a few emails and try to connect over Skype and all this. But I mean, that's a nice thing when you work in a studio. Like you can just like talk to other people, or like even if you don't talk, you just feel like you're in the part of this bigger thing. You know, when you work from home, you get your shot, you're doing this, you're sending it over, you get your feedback, even over Skype call and everything, and you still see like the progress of the whole thing. But it's definitely nice to be in the studio, to be around like other creative people. But it's also so nice to just have your own rhythm. And if you feel like you need a nap, like a 10-minute nap, you can just take it. And that's perfect. I feel like this is just pushing my output way more. Just the feeling that I can, I don't know, like sometimes around like 3 p.m. or so, it's like I feel like so tired because, I don't know, I got up at like 6. And I just feel like, you know what, 10 minutes, just like put myself on the couch, close the eyes, don't even have to sleep, just like 10 minutes zoning away, kind of, and then just go back to work, and it's all good. I think I could do the same in the studio, but it just would look weird.
I'm still building on that. I'm still like, because I recognize that the times when I work at home, like right now, what the best thing is I can do is sleep. I just need like 10 or 15 minutes to just hit on the couch, and then I recognize that I'm not at the level that I do that at the office.
Exactly. Like, I don't think it would be a problem, you know, like just say, oh, you know what, I'm just going to take 10 minutes off, go in a conference room, just put myself on the floor, whatever, and just like close my eyes for a moment. I mean, there are so many other people just going out and, I don't know, like, smoke a cigarette or something like that, you know? I mean, that's kind of the same 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah. You know, like you go out there, you smoke a cigarette, you talk to people, you get a coffee. I mean, they're like your 10, 15 minutes. Which is completely fine, but if you don't do that, like you're not smoking, then it's harder for yourself to maybe find a good reason to say, I'm just going to go up and, I don't know, like every hour or two or whatever, that's going to take 10 minutes, just go out and smoke a cigarette. And just, instead of smoking cigarettes, just going to stand there outside. I don't know, it feels a bit weird.
What I love what you're saying, and what I recognize for myself as well, is just when you listen like to what's good for you in the moment, like, okay, I need a break now, or I need like this now. Yeah. And then you can like listen to what comes up, because I know some. What were you going to say?
I mean, you just feel it in the moment when you think, okay, I only have like 1 hour left, and I have to get, I don't know, this done on my shot or whatever, and then I'm tired or I need a break, but no, I have to focus, and then you start to, I don't know, work faster and do more mistakes, and at the end it takes you twice as long.
Yeah, or you make
but you always know that in the end. And normally you know that even beforehand, but you just don't listen to you because you think, oh my God, I have to get it done, I have to get it done. Otherwise, I don't know, the world's going to end.
Interesting, I recognize that. It's like, why am I stressing? I'm actually doing worse work. I'm not helping myself, but I'm only just working harder to get rid of the feeling of the stress, which is like, well, it's not really, like, it's not useful. You're not helping yourself or anybody.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I do, like, for me, I do take breaks. I'm very strict. I plan it in the morning. This and this and this is when I'm going to take my break.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, it's so easy to just, I could probably go for another half an hour and then take a break, and then you work for half an hour and then you're like, I should have taken it like half an hour ago. Like, I'm already, like, the last half hour I did, like, I just noodled around. You just like really trying, and it just doesn't work.
And like yesterday, I started a new shot just for myself with a new rig, and I was working on it and doing some poses and trying to get used to the rig and everything. So basically, I was like super hyped because new rig, new possibility, like new shiny toys, you know. And so I was starting to work on it and working. And then I was looking at my clock. It's like, wow, it's already 2 p.m. I didn't really took any break there, just like standing there on my desk and just working. And the moment I realized that, I felt like I was, I don't know, getting tired, you know, like not knowing anymore where to look on my shots. So I was like, hey, half an hour later, I was like, nah, doesn't do any difference if I work now 5 hours more, 10 minutes. It's just gonna not look so good. So I was taking a break. I think like half an hour or an hour, something like that. I was getting something to eat and so on. And once I was getting back to my to the shot, it's always like this fresh eye moment, you know. You look at the shot and it's like, why didn't I saw that before? Just like fixing something here and there, and overall it took you like 20 minutes to fix something we worked on 2 hours before. So, but I think that's always the same case. Like if you finally take your break and you come back and have a bit of distance to the shot, you see so many new things. So, and definitely take breaks.
Yeah, I like it though. It's like, because there's no real rules for this. Like sometimes, just as you described, sometimes you have it all in your mind. You have an exact vision, and you're just like, okay, new rig. I have to find this and this and this out, and you're just like, and you're just running with it for like for however long it needs to go. And then at some point in your awareness, you get like, okay, now I'm tired, and then you have the option to push through or to take like a break and just come back later. And like I'm very fascinated by the fact that. And this comes from the time when I was working home a lot. It's just you find that sometimes taking a break is actually very beneficial.
Yeah, I think you find this out more when you're working at home rather when you work in the studio. I remember when I was at One Animation there, my roommate and colleague there, we always had like our lunch break at around like, I don't know, like 12:30, 1 p.m., something like that, I think. And then we always took another break around like 4. So we always had like this kind of parents, like you was looking on your clock, it's like, oh, it's nearly 4, and you look over your computer and he's looking and say, yeah, break, okay. So then you take like your 15 minutes or something like that, but nothing really in between. Yeah. So you have like your breaks there, you have your lunch break, you have your small little break, and then you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a nice thing working at home, like nobody's standing behind you. You don't have to explain why you're taking a break now. You know, it's like in the studio, sometimes you feel like, the other people are working, and I mean, yeah, we just had like lunch an hour ago. Should I really take a break now? I don't know, maybe not, you know, like all this stuff, which is completely stupid. Nobody's gonna look and then get a list out and like, oh, he's taking a break again. Yeah. It's like 10 minutes. It's like at the end of the week, wow, he took a lot of breaks. You know, I mean, as long as you get your work done,
that's what I
take as many breaks as you want. I mean,
yeah, it's not
as long as it's not like 5 hours in one. Something like
that. you're there trying to be productive. That's exactly. Always what I'm thinking. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm taking another break when it feels right, and then but I'm never worried about it. I'm like, I'm taking this break because I need this break. This will help me when it feels right.
Yeah, I mean there are like two different things. There's one thing taking a break, and there's the other thing of like not feeling productive at this day and just like, I don't know, taking a break because you don't feel productive. And I mean, you have those days. You have those days where you start working and you work an hour and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like you don't get the pose, you don't get the look, you don't get the expression, whatever it is. You don't get the splining done, the weight right, whatever. Yeah. And you just sit there and watch like, 7 more hours to go. Finally can go home and start over tomorrow. And I don't know. The thing is, when I'm working at home, I tend to work more than when I'm in the studio. Like just because of the fact, if I have a day like that, I don't force myself to say, okay, now I have to get it done today. Because I mean, as long as there's no freaky deadline. But unless okay, it just doesn't work. So what else do I have to do? Yeah, I have to get some groceries. I don't know, I have to do this, I have to get paperwork done. So I'm always trying to put this stuff in there in the time when I don't feel productive at all. And then maybe later at the evening or something like that, do another hour where I feel like maybe I can fix what I did this morning. And then just hope that I'm going to be more productive tomorrow. And if I'm more productive and it's working again, then I don't know, just do a few hours more. Like, I don't know, like 2-3 hours and that's it. And then it's okay. So don't stress yourself too much about those days. But it's hard when you're in the studio and you have other people around you, and like you have the feeling everybody's looking at your screen. And the moment you don't move the timeline around,
you have to
it's like you become like, didn't I saw that frame like an hour ago? So yeah, that's sometimes hard. I think
I like the differences that you're talking about, as in the difference between working at home and the office, because you're in both situations you're still trying to do the best job possible.
Exactly, completely. It's like, it's not that you're sitting at home and feel like, well, I mean, I'm working from home, so I only do an hour and that's it. I feel like you just still have to get the animation done and the work done, and you work for the normal 8 hours, or sometimes more, sometimes less. It just depends. But it's just nice to have the possibility, at least a bit, to play around with the time. I mean, I still have to be available or like reachable during like normal office hours in a way. So I can't just say, well, I'm just going to sleep the whole day and just work during the whole night. I mean, it's going to be hard with feedback and everything. But at least you can just play a bit around with the stuff. It's like I started to realize that I'm way more productive in the morning. Which I would never thought I am. I would thought like I'm a night guy, like working at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like we did at Animation Mentor, or like I didn't
like during
the whole night, and and sleeping 5 hours and getting up and working again until like 5 in the morning. But so I just have the option now to start early, because otherwise the normal studio day, I know, starts around like 8 or 9ish, something like that. But now I feel like, well, if I want to, I can just start at 6 and just get work done already. And sometimes it's crazy. Like you start to work at like, I don't know, 6:30, 7ish, and you work, and you look at your clock and it's like, wow, it's just 12. But yeah, I just already worked nearly 6 hours. It's like, it's just a completely different feeling. I mean, sure, you're more tired in the evening and all this, so it's not that you suddenly have like your 30-hour day, something like that. But it just, I don't know, you feel like you get more done during the day, and I don't know, that works better for me.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's different there.
And on some levels, I'm like, yeah, this is totally true. But at the same time, there's not, like, the things you're describing, and I agree with them on some levels. Like, at home, you are much more intuitive. Very intuitive, as in, okay, I need a break now. You take it. And you never think about what everybody else thinks, because they're not there.
Yeah.
And then at the office, you feel the same signal. You're like, I need a break. And you're like, oh, we just had lunch an hour ago. People are going to look at me. Which is like, that's really your thinking that's going on right there.
Yeah, it's completely stupid.
Well, I wouldn't call it stupid. It's still real. Like there's.
Yeah, it is real, but it doesn't make sense to not listen to it. It's like.
It's a valid signal. Yeah, it's a valid signal. I completely agree there. And I was going to go into time and how time is just another concept, because in the end you could do as much in 5 hours as you can do in like a mediocre 8 hours sometimes.
Oh, completely. Yeah, definitely.
And then you also have like the fun of fresh eyes, which I find a very interesting subject, because it's like sometimes I sit down and I work very hard. I'm like, it doesn't really work, but I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stay here, try my best, and then see if it comes up. And then you walk away and you forget what you were doing, and you come back, it's like, oh man, I should do it like this and this and this, and you solve it in like 5 minutes or like in 10 minutes. You know, like you have like the perfect solution.
Yeah,
I find that so inspiring. Just that fact is like, oh, there's these gold nuggets, and you're just not seeing them. And if you just relax and just like grab a cup of tea, or just don't try and force it too much, and just come back and
it's always easier to see something like this on a shot which you haven't animated. Like if somebody's asking you for feedback, you always see like all these things like a tangent here, or the expression there, or push the spine more, or whatever. But on your own shot, you normally don't really see that so fast, because you're completely into it. And I mean, you did the pose and you thought at one point, yeah, it looks okay, looks right. But then you're taking the break, and as you said, like the moment when you start to forget about your shot, that's the best thing, because if you still think about it, you still have kind of this mental image there of the pose in your head.
Exactly.
And everything. So I think that the best thing is really starting in the morning, you know, after having a lot of hours between the last time you touched the shot, and just open it again and looking at your last play blast, or just scrubbing through and seeing a few poses and, well, honestly, I think I can push this way more.
Yeah.
Just go in there, tweak it a bit, and and then you feel like, oh yeah, I pushed it. I did something good. I don't know, like I tweaked the shot in a good direction. So you're like more, you have kind of sometimes have more energy to go into it again.
Yeah, because you're going in the right way,
or in a better way than before, in a more clearer way. Or this holds normally until you get feedback. But it's that's a nice part. When you look at your shot, do some changes and feel like the new energy, and just keep on going.
Yeah, rather than noodling for like 5 hours and you're just like,
exactly.
I want to go home. I'm done.
Yeah, I just want to go home. Just make this day end.
I want to go home. Man, we covered a lot of ground already.
Cool.
what I like is that what you said is when you come back and you forget your shot, you forget the pose, so you come back and you like basically have no memory whatsoever of what you were doing, and then so you have fresh eyes again, and so there's just sort of the feeling that you were going for, and then you look at it, it's like, okay, this is pretty good, that's pretty good, this needs to change. And then I think there's, and it's done in art school as well, where they recommend to, like when you're making like a drawing, like to frequently step away to look at it from a distance, so you have like a different perspective, because it starts to, I don't know how that works, but it starts to look like, it starts to feel dead after a while. It's like I'm not really seeing it, and then you try harder and harder to get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like this. You start a shot, and I mean, the first ideas you get, you have this all played in your head. You know? Like I can see it already. It's like if I look at my screen, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be happen there, and there's like an overshoot and whatever. Yeah. And then you start to put the poses, and it's like, wait a second, doesn't really work. Yeah. but why? It's like I see it in my head, and it just really looks funny and good in my head. Why doesn't it work on the screen?
Yeah, in my imagination, it's just like the perfect shot.
Yeah. And it's like, it has to be possible. I mean, I just saw it there with the rig. It's not like I just saw a bouncing ball running. I was like, I kind of imagined the rig doing exactly this. So it has to work somehow on the screen too, like in Maya too, whatever you're using. And then you push the pose and trying there, and that's also not it. It's like, and you think like, okay, what's wrong? This is not working because I was completely somewhere else with my head, or am I just not getting the pose exactly the right way? Or sure, sometimes it's just a limitation of the rig, because otherwise it's breaking at those points or whatever. But it's always, I think this is like the hardest part, to start a shot and you have the vision there, and even if you record reference and all the stuff, and you start doing the poses and you look at your blocking and you don't feel it. Like you don't have this moment when you do the first play blast and like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna see it, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's not like you have two realities. Like, you have like
it's not even close. Yeah, but then comes this love-hate relationship of animation. You know, it's like, I love to work on it, but I hate that it's not working. So you have to get it to work somehow. So, and if not exactly like you have it in your head, then find a different way, a better way. Make it work.
Man,
that's the point.
Yeah,
make it work somehow. It's always so easy when you're not working on your shot at the moment. You know, it's like after you've done your shot and talk to people, it's like, yeah, just make it work. You know, but once you sit there, it's like, it's not working. Just gonna delete it. Just gonna draw it. If I could draw, damn.
Here's a radical idea. What if, and this is very the thing that State of Mind points to, and I sometimes see this, and when I do, I'm doing very great. So one of the things that State of Mind points to is the fact that the feeling we have, it's a radical idea. Just going to throw this up here. The feeling that like when I have a shot, when I feel good or bad about it, is pointing purely to my own thinking about the shot. It's never pointing to the shot itself. And so
yeah, I would definitely say that's true. I mean, that's I think the point of asking other people for feedback,
because they don't care about your shot. They're just there.
Exactly. It's like, it's working or it's not working. It's like if I'm doing something like at Soy, we were animating kind of a children show. So I would say, I don't know, like the age for that would be like maybe 6 years upwards, something like that maybe. So sometimes you just have the idea and you animate it, and it's like, it's completely clear for you, you know, because like, I don't know, you're doing this motion or this whatever it is, like you're gonna pick up a ball from the ground. It's like you just go down and pick up the ball. Done. But if you then ask a child, or like how would you pick up the ball? It's like completely different. It's like they would never pick up the ball like you would do it. Like with one hand, they would just, I don't know, maybe fall on their knees and take both hands and like make it overcomplicated. It's like it's just a simple task of like picking up a ball, but it's like the whole body is involved and everything. So it's always like the person. It depends who you ask. It's like you have your idea and you do your shot, and the moment you ask another person, he's looking at this and he doesn't know what you have in your mind, like in your imagination, or what you thought into all the poses. It's like there's just the moment it works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing really in between. It's like if it kind of works, well, that just means that it doesn't work. Because it's like there's not really a gray zone, I feel.
Yeah.
Like either the shot is working or it's not, and if not, then you just have to find a way to make it work, make it clearer, or whatever it takes to just, make it work. Make it readable, understandable.
I love that. Like one of the hard things to explain about state of mind is separate realities, as in what you see is completely different from what I see, and especially but in this context it makes like complete sense, because you have, like, when I sit down and I animate something, I've got like a head full of thinking around it, like this, and it needs to be like that, and this and this and this and this, and that's why like feedback from another person is so valuable, because they just come in and just look at it and it's like, I don't get it, or I get it.
Exactly.
And when they get it, it's like an experience and it's clear. It's just get it and it's there.
Exactly. And it's most likely if one other person gets it, then maybe the other one will get it too.
Yeah.
But that's always the hard thing. Like trying to get something across, like an emotion or whatever. And somebody's angry, somebody's sad. I mean, those are like expressions you maybe can read pretty clearly, which doesn't necessarily mean that the shot is working just because you see the expression. Like if somebody's sad, you just, I don't know, lower the eyebrows and whatever, the head, just put in there. It's like, well, I see clearly he's sad, but it's still not working. It
doesn't feel sad.
So, exactly, like it looks sad, but it doesn't feel sad. And that is so hard. It's like you ask 10 people, you get 10 different opinions, and everybody... if you ask for feedback, people want to help, and tell you, I understand what's happening, but I don't really see it clearly. Maybe try this and this. Because that's their approach of going to the problem, or like fixing the problem. Yeah. So, of course, if you ask 10 people, you most likely get 10 different ideas to put this in. And then it's the hard part of like, okay, now I have to find one working way because I can't put all the 10 ideas in there. And sometimes I also feel like, okay, but I don't really want to just ignore the feedback from person X, because then maybe he's angry and never gives me feedback again, So it's like, okay, what I'm doing now? It's like, can I kind of get all those 10 ideas into this one shot? That would be the worst thing to do.
Exactly. You'd completely ruin it.
Exactly. So I really like that if you found people which are really honest, and it's nothing personal. It's just the shot is just making it work, and either you take the feedback or the suggestions, or you don't. It's like it doesn't really matter. It's like you can still ask them next week about a different shot, and it's all good. It's just animation. Yeah. It's like we're not healing. I don't know, like any. Yeah, we don't healing the world hunger or whatever. We just do an animation shot, so nobody dies from that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I in your story, I don't hear any. Like for me, when I sit down in a shot, I'm like, it's not working, and my experience of that is so real that I'm like, in the beginning I struggled a lot with that, because I was just like, it's not working. I hate this experience. I hate doing this.
Yeah, totally. When you're in there,
and I love the fact that just like when you get feedback, you get like a fresh perspective on it. You're just like, oh, wait a minute, maybe what I'm thinking is not actually as bad as I think it is, or it's maybe not that true, or you get like a little bit of a lightness to it.
Yeah, but you still sometimes feedback just sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just work there and put everything in there, and like, yeah, I really thought about everything, like every single pose, and you just get the feedback like, yeah, it doesn't work. It's like, that's most like, well, then I take the question back. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like, then I don't care. But
yeah.
I mean, it's just hard if you put work into something creative from you, and people start to make changes. That's always hard. That's part of the game, I guess.
Well, I don't know. For me, when I'm lost and somebody has a suggestion, it helps me like to regain, like, okay, then
that's fun. Yeah.
It reminds me in the interview we did with Micha. He talked about one of his supervisors and his love-hate relationship in art, which is so strong.
Yeah.
Like I know very few areas where people are either loving their experience or truly hating it. And it's like you wonder, like, why do we still do this? Why are we not, like, I don't know, folding boxes or doing something that doesn't stress you out as much? And the supervisor said, like, yeah, I just love the feeling when a shot comes out perfectly, just from beginning to end. It's just like a smooth perfection, just all the way, nails it.
Yeah, sometimes when you have this that's great, but it's always it's rare. I mean, the more people are getting involved, the more opinions you hear, and I think, like, normally I don't really have a problem with, like, getting feedback and doing changes. You know, like, it's just part of the game. Yeah. It's just getting, like, really hard once it's, like, so late in the game, you know? It's like when you have your blocking approved, and blocking plus approved, and the spline approved, and you start to polish, and then it's like, from a different person which never saw your shot again before, it's like, well, maybe I don't know, you know, this maybe you should come in from the other side.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. It's like, oh, really? It's like, but it worked before. And then it's always like this, is this valid feedback? Is this just, does it have to be different to make it read clearer, or is it just a different opinion?
Yeah.
So, and that's sometimes that's annoying. I mean, honestly, that's just annoying. If you work for weeks on a shot and then suddenly somebody comes in and just... Maybe he should come in from the right, and maybe he should make a jump instead of, like, sitting on the chair. Like, completely different, you know? But, well, in the end, it's like, that's why you do your own work, you know, like, to have nobody standing behind you and telling you exactly that. It's like you can listen to other people's feedback or you don't. It's like, but then again, it's so hard because you don't have somebody standing.
Yeah, exactly. That was just about to say. It's like it's about the same medal, right? Because and I think the commonality between those things is investment. I know that when I'm super invested in something, as in this, like for a showreel shot, this needs to be the best shot ever. I'm just gonna, and it's gonna be that's gonna be agony because I'm like slaving and wondering, and then is it good enough? Is this pose good enough? And just I get totally lost. And I have the same at work. Like when I'm very invested, I'm like, this needs to be like the customer needs to be like blown away by this, and this needs to be. It's like, and for me, when there's a lightness to it, just okay, I have X amount of time. I'm just gonna sit down, get to it, and gonna make the best I can. And I just keep my eye on the ball, and I'm just more curious about what's going on in front of me rather than my personal investment in the shot. Then it's like, you know, I really like animating. I love this job. And I'm like, and then other days you're like you forget it, and I get super invested again. This needs to be much better. It's not good. And then it's like, it's this hatefulness again. It's like,
It was funny. Like the last year, I had like this super opportunity to co-direct a short film at Studio Side. So I was first animating on a different show, and then they asked me to come back and co-direct. I was like, wow, great opportunity, awesome, like right from the beginning on. But the problem is you're getting so invested in the short thing. You know, it's like you're doing the first storyboards, you're thinking about the locations, you only get the script, and then it's all like getting in your head, and you think about like, oh yeah, this box has to be there, and they're running there, and you just do the storyboards, and then the layout and the animation, and then there's one point where of course other people are deciding things, you know. It's like, because you're not like the only director, you have different person there, you have producers, you have the client most of all, and then you get like those feedback things, you know, like this he should point with his fingers over there, and he should knock with his head when he means yes, you know, like those obvious things, which are always, they hurt a bit. They hurt me doing those, you know, because it's like, you don't have to point with your finger over there just because you're talking to the person in the right, you know. It's like, if you watch in this direction, it should be clear, but no, the client wants this, and it's always hard, you know, like, it's always hard to killing your babies. But then, like, after the project was done, I was animating again on a different one, and it was way easier, you know, because somebody else did the storyboard and somebody else did the layout. And I was just like getting the stuff and just, you know, make it look nice, kind of. Here's the idea, and just do that. And it was way easier to make changes, just because you weren't involved so much in it, like right from the beginning on. Like, you felt like every single piece of every shot, every camera, everything had to be exactly there, because it's working so great.
It sounds almost like when parents get too involved with their kids. To like really or a manager gets really involved with his employees, and he's like just like micromanaging, like it needs to be this, and like, and yet nobody's happy. It's super inefficient.
Yes.
And it's terrible because the manager's not getting what he wants because he's not using the intelligence that's available to him. And then, and with kids, it's the same thing. Because the more, at least from my experience, the more you like leave them like to their own devices, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, oh no, don't go there, it's too dangerous, and you freak out, and that's what for me state of mind points to, just the fact that feeling of awkwardness or unpleasantness when you're like very worried points to the quality of your own thinking rather than the thing you're looking at.
Completely. It's such a big part, like all it's all a head game, kind of, you know. It's like, if you sit there and do you think about your shot, and does it work, does it not work, how am I going to fix this now, can I fix this now, do I want to fix this, or it's like, especially on your own shots, it's like, I really want to make it work, but I kind of already did all the work, so I do really have to redo the work. Because sometimes it's just nice to say, you know what, I kind of call this finished now, because I really can't see it anymore, and I don't want to work on it anymore, and I just want to get something else there. The moment, as you said, you think, oh, this is going to be a demo reel shot. It's going to be the best shot I've ever did, with all the knowledge that I ever, like, I'm going to put everything in there. I'm going to put expression changes and selecting and running and body mechanics and everything in like 10 seconds. And then you start to make your layout and you feel like, okay, now I'm already at 54 seconds. Maybe it's a bit too much. And it would be just nice to just do something without thinking about this demo reel stuff and this, I need to do this because it has to find me another job somehow. So it's always nice to do something else creative besides only animating, to just feel like, I'm not completely I don't know, like, I'm still able to do something nice, and like, you don't have to stress too much about it in the end.
For me, for a little while, it almost became like a technique to just not get invested too much.
Yeah.
And then you realize, well, I need investment in some way. I need to be, like, I cannot, like, I'm just going to sit down and animate it. Oh, shit, I don't care. Oh, wait, actually, I do care.
It's
like,
hard.
you need to be present with the shot in the moment, but not, like, when you walk away, you need to, like, just walk away, like, go. Don't
Yeah. A friend of mine, I think he and a few other guys or something like that, they did something, they did this 2-hour challenge. which basically they meet kind of once a week, and they have this little random animation script, so you can put like push the random button, and then they get like humanoid, body mechanics shot, on ice, so they're sliding, and cartoony, you know. So, and then they have 2 hours to just get something in. And after 2 hours, it's over. So just get a blocking in, get a pose in, get whatever, and after 2 hours, it's done, and you do something else.
Yeah.
And that's like a great thing to do, because if you have somebody else telling you, here's the script, here's the idea, here's your shot, you see what you have to do it. You have your guidelines, you know, you have like, you know what they expect kind of from you. But the moment you do your own shot, it's like you question every single thing in it. Like, right from the beginning, it's like, you have the idea, but is it a good idea? Could it be a better idea?
Yeah.
But didn't I saw that before in a different shot? Maybe it's kind of close. I mean, it's still a girl coming in a shot. Didn't I saw that before somewhere else? You know, maybe they think I copied it, or maybe is it really good? Is it not good? You know, does a pose read maybe longer or whatever? It's like every single thing you question yourself, and you never get it done. It's so annoying.
I think you either learn how to deal with that, or you just quit. There's
yes. No. And then you feel like, well, I kind of work, you know, professional as an animator, so I do animation over the day for somebody else, and you know, it's my work. I'm getting paid, and I get the shots, and hopefully it's good enough to get somewhere else with it, or to get a different shot, because sometimes it's just the budget, you know, it's the time. Sometimes they just need, I don't know, like, from time to time you have 10 seconds a week, you have 5 seconds a week, or you have 40 seconds a week. And of course it's hard to take your 40 seconds and make this the best animation anybody ever saw.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 40 seconds.
That's very unfair.
Exactly. So, and then you think, you know what, I'm going to do my own shot, and I have the time, and I'm just going to polish everything, you know, make it look really nice. It's like, but until you get to this section of polishing, you have like this stuff with finding the idea and getting it in and really sticking to it. Like sticking to your own idea, I think it's the hardest thing to do. Because, as I said, you question every single move, pose, whatever in your shot, everything.
Yeah.
And setting your own deadline is a nice thing, but it doesn't work for me, because I know, well, I just set my deadline next Friday, but hey, it's my deadline, so I'll probably just put it on Friday after that one.
Yeah.
Whatever, like in 2 months. It's like, it doesn't really care. So having a deadline like, oh, there's a conference coming up, so I have to get this done until then, that's something different. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's at least something you can't really postpone. It's like the conference.
You don't really want to postpone it. That's, I think, the difference.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, after like 8 hours or whatever you work on somebody else's animation, then getting your own work out and animating some more, that's always hard. Because like I feel like the best hours I had over the day, like the most productive ones, creative ones, they're already gone. And so I could say, well, then I want to use those for my own shots, but that's also not really fair for your client or the studio you're working for. And so that's just it's just hard. It's finding the balance there, I think. In everything, finding the balance is just hard. Yeah.
I know. For me, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done animating. I just accept that, and that'll probably change. Like when I have I did a while ago. I thought I'm just gonna master the bouncing ball. I'm just gonna animate the bouncing ball until I drop dead. Just like do so many of it that I'm never gonna be able to worry about these 10 frames, because I'm gonna have like another 3,000 coming on. And because there was no investment, it was just like really enjoying it. And then I'd make a mistake and do it different, and I'd make a mistake, do it different, make a mistake, do it different. And then after a while I just got really, really good at it. And then I'd be making it very complicated, like making like 9 bouncing balls, making like a shape and going back in and just, okay, that was terrible, and then you recover. But that exploration was so light and fun that I could do that for a very long time because I never caught up in the head game, as you called it. Like I was never questioning it. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to make a mistake. It's cool. Make it. Look at it. All right, this needs to be different. This needs to be different.
Yeah, I think if you could just switch off this, it has to be good. It has to be part of my demo reel because otherwise I wouldn't put the time in it. You know, if you could just switch this off, this would help so much. I mean, like if I'm doing something else, like I don't know, getting out and taking photos or whatever, and like getting home and do the post-production on them and whatever. It's like I don't think about, oh, that has to become part of my portfolio and it better be the best picture I've ever took because this is gonna help me, I don't know, get a job or I have to sell this or whatever. It's just like I'm just doing this. Hopefully somebody else likes it, but first point is that I like it.
Yeah.
And somebody else doesn't like the way I do the post-production on it, well, then it is like that. Don't have to please everybody. Yeah. But the moment I'm doing my own animation, it's like, oh man, it has to be, you know, this Pixar quality and it has to get me in a big studio and it has to be the best thing ever and the most unique and all this stuff. And this is like such a hard thing just to get over this mind setting there. That's just hard. Yeah.
I was going to say something very smart there, but I forgot. I was like, I got the best comment ever. Yeah. Oh, wait. Shit, I forgot.
Oh, it's gone. Well, whenever.
I like the realization, though, because for me, when I'm cooking, like I have like no investment whatsoever. I'm just in there in the moment doing it, just like you described photography. Just there, like okay, and you have like a sort of a saneness around it, a sanity, a mental health around just like, all right, I'm just making a picture, and I'm gonna make it as good as I can, and that's what it's gonna be. There's sort of an acceptance of the outcome, and there's like and because you're not at all caught up in it, like what it needs to be. You're just there in the moment making it, and then it feels, to me, that feels much lighter, much easier.
Oh yeah. And it's just good to do something you like for yourself. You know, it's like you like cooking, dancing, whatever. Other people do something else. I really like to take photos, and it's just nice. I don't do it too often because it's always like the town you're living in most likely is not for you at least, the best photo location, you know, but then you see other people like visiting your town, it's like, wow, where you took this picture. Yeah. That's really where I live.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool, huh? Yeah, just like...
yeah, I haven't seen that. But yeah, it's just nice to just go out and do something then for yourself. Just know, just do this just because of the joy of it.
Yeah.
I just like to do it. There's nothing else attached to it. If it doesn't work, if I do 700 photos and I get 2 which are good, or even 1, that's completely fine. Yeah. And if there's not 1 there, sure, I'm a bit disappointed, but it doesn't matter. Because it's just fun to do. And hopefully you get better at it. Because, I don't know, I guess everybody who's having a hobby tries to get better at what he's doing there. Otherwise, you know, I don't know. But, and if I'm not getting better, then it's like that. I'm still doing this, or I don't know, shooting film.
You're still you're still having a good time and enjoying what you do.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't question it. So that's definitely the good thing. That's again the balance. You just need to have something to balance out your work, and especially in the creative world, you always do client work. If you work for somebody else, you're realizing, or you're creating somebody else's vision. Which always means that it's not exactly the way you want to do it. It's just like that, and that's completely fine. But it's still sometimes you just need to do something where you are your own boss in a way and say, no, I kind of like this exactly like that, and I call this one finished. And done. Moving on, next picture, or whatever it is.
I think we come to a really nice point to call this conversation.
Okay.
Or cool. Is there anything you wanted to, like...
No, not really. I was just going
with
your question and everything, so just...
I really enjoyed this. That's, like, we've been going for a good hour now. Like 50, for a good 55 minutes.
Haven't felt so long.
Yeah. No, it was good. I was just like, I haven't been drinking any beer, but it's just been very relaxing and just like talk.
I still have some water.
Yeah, talk shop.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time and your perspective. It's like, for me, it's been really, really fun.
Yeah, cool. For me too. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for asking. Thanks for giving me the opportunity here.
Yeah.
Was a pretty short notice, but all good.
For the viewers, I just like, I will record this today. Who's up? Who would be good for this? Oh, Matthias would be up for this. Let's see if he is it. Like, yeah, I could do this. I'd love to help you out. Just like, yes, good.
You want to do this? You want to do this in half an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, but totally cool.
All right, cool.
I mean, I saw the Skype message like 20 minutes after you asked, so basically I had like 10 minutes, but it's all good. Cool.